Good evening, all my people. You are all welcome to this edition of our program, Africans Online Network. My name is Nwachukwu Emmanuel, and we are broadcasting from our station here in Hanover, Baden-Stadt in Hanover, Germany. Yeah, as a matter of fact, we celebrated our opening ceremony just Saturday, the 3rd of June 2017, and there was a very heroic occasion. It's that very first drop of water that we know that there is a one drop of water that makes a mighty ocean, and that's what we did on that day. We dropped that first ball of water that will make that mighty ocean, and we are grateful to all the men and women who came around to make sure that it was honored and it was respected. We thank you for all what you did, and we also thank all those who are still sending in their thanks and appreciations to this very organization, and recommending and appreciating what we have just did. It is not by our power, it's not by our mind, but we have in mind the African people and know that it's your power, your willingness that will make this place work out. That is the essence of Africans Online Network. As we can all see and testify, in Germany as a whole, Hanover is a place that culturally, among the blacks, is lacking behind. You can go to places like Dusseldorf, Essen, Hamburg, Berlin. You find out that the black culture is a little bit moving forward, if I don't say so much moving forward. But here, organization-wise, the Hanoverians in the Africans in Hanover here, we are lacking behind. And that is why African Online is well appreciated by all people who live in the vicinity of Hanover. All the blacks who are here, we appreciate the support you gave to us and know that you are willing to work with us to make this place a success. And that is where our mind was in doing this. Especially, African Online is thinking more about the children of tomorrow more than we. We have gone deep into the mistakes of our forefathers by following a lot of tragic footsteps that have not helped us up to now. And Africans Online is here to call out that mistakes, try to make corrections while we trade another good road for our children. That is why we will support every nation in Africa to be part of African Online so that we can form a community where we can become brothers, where we can be called Africans and not Cameroonian and not Nigerian and not Ghanaian and not Togolese and not South African and so on and so forth. We want to be represented and known as Africans. We want to be a communion of the people in as much as we know we are here in diaspora. When we go home, everybody goes back to their own native nations. But in as much as we are here to develop ourselves, to take back and be able to teach those back home is according to the life they see us living here in Europe. How organized we can make ourselves in Europe here will make us talk to the ones at home. They will listen to us because they will know that there is something different we are doing and we're practicing. And that will be actually our ability to consume the European culture, make that separation of what is good in them and what is bad in them, then use it also to plus our own culture that is inborn in us that we came home here with. We also know in our own culture and tradition there are some kind of old traditions and cultures that are not that are outdated. We use the knowledge that we have gathered here to scrap away those ones that are no longer in vogue now, that can no longer play because of time. We put them behind, pick out those traditions of ours that are very pure, that are respectful, that makes us Africa and makes us unique. Then combine it with those we learn from the Western world that makes them unique. Then if we can be able to live exemplary here in Europe to be a society of love, peace among ourselves, we can be able to show example to the people back home that this is a way to live and this is a way we should represent and accommodate ourselves as Africans. In Hanover here, there is a lot of different nationalities from Asia, to America, Europe, another side of the European world here also, and there are also the Indians with their own culture. We have the Tokais here who have their own cultural organizations functioning as a community. So this is what we are trying to make sure that we first of all organize ourselves. We can be able to help ourselves. We can be able to understand ourselves. And the only way we can do that is when we have a place to come together and share our ideas. There's no need we shying away from ourselves or believing that the other man does not know what you know. You cannot know who knows more than you or less than you unless we come together and help one another. When you are learning, the same time you are teaching others what you are made up of. And that result is going to make up great. The European world here is bound with understanding and planning. We know that the African men and women, we are blessed and we are very successful in our individual endeavors. But what is lacking is for the African men and women to be able to come together and have a communal effort that can be representing the people instead of individual wants. If we can do that, if we can be able to have communal efforts, communal activities, communal indoctrinations among ourselves, how does it feel when my son, my daughter will leave and leave my house to visit? I know that she's going or he's going to another black family where I know the culture, the religion, the food, the language is understood, even if the language is not one. But at least we know what the language, the body language is the most important. The body chemistry between who you are with. Even if you are speaking in English, that chemistry, that color you are seeing, that representation of you in front of you gives you, the visitor, and the host the ability to be free. We know we Africans have said a lot of things that we are not doing. That is why Africans Online is here. There is a lot of topics that's going to come about this. We are going to have general knowledge and the education about what and how we are living among ourselves. Try to make corrections. First of all, the first thing we do is the gathering of ourselves together to be able to introduce a kind of introduction. When we start coming in, when we start being of contribution, when we start talking, communicating together, that means we are forming a kind of introduction among ourselves. And that is what we have to start doing right now by calling all African men and women, irrespective of the country you are coming from, be you a Ghanaian, be you a Togolese, be you a Nigerian, a Cameroonian, you come from Angola, you come from South Africa. As long as you are an African, we want to build a strong community here in Hanover first. They say charity begins at home. Our home at this moment is here where we're living, and this is the Hanover for us. And this is the only place we start building that block. This is the only place we start building that example that we wish that we can send and export to our brothers and sisters back home. We the African people need to think beyond ourselves, beyond our generations, and think about the generations to come, to fight, to know that most of the things we have to start doing now will not be the things that is going to benefit us directly, but we are laying foundations that is going to benefit our children, that they don't come into this kind of bondage, into this suffering that we have suffered and are still suffering. That is the essence of the call we are making. Also, we are grateful to our sponsors who are donating for us charity materials like children toys, children clothes, children playthings, all sorts of accessories, for donation, and we are calling on families here, mothers who have children, kids, to come into the station. With time, we are going to have a register and a time when we can be distributing the charities we receive from donors. That is how we want to unite ourselves, by giving and taking among ourselves, buying and selling among ourselves, represent ourselves, try to create programs that is going to educate our children, because it is the next generation that can do this job. We have just failed. The only thing we can do now is to build that foundation for these people to complete that very building. The next generations to come are the ones to finish the building. Our job now is to build a foundation, and that foundation is only showing them the line of peace, love, unity among our children. Our children don't even know themselves. The African kids supposed to know themselves, visit themselves, even if they are not in the same schools. By our own gatherings, they're supposed to make friends among themselves. They're supposed to be closer to their own sisters and brothers. If we have a place where we have children varieties, children talent shows, which we are going to be hosting from Africans Online. These are the programs that we lay down here, that we want to make sure that is going to promote the art culture and the communication of the Africans in Hanover. We are calling you, if you are Cameroonian, if you are a Nigerian, if you are a Togolese, if you are a Ghanaian, if you come from Angola, if you come from Congo, anywhere it is, Ethiopia, if you come from Zimbabwe, where is it in Africa? We are all brothers and sisters. First of all, we can see what is happening. All other communities respect themselves first before they go out. An Asian man build a company will first of all start by employing an Asian man. An European man build a company will start by employing an European. But for us, the answer becomes completely different. We say that we are being maltreated, but we maltreat ourselves more than other people maltreat us. It is high time we start telling ourselves the truth. It's time we start calling a spade a spade. It's time we start coming out and making a change from our own selves, first of all. When you say charity begins at home, the very home we talk about is the very you, who is the person who wants to voice out that word. Charity begins at you. You becomes the first home that charity should become. That very one, that very charity should start from. That very person who should start thinking inwards about your reflection, about your attitude, about your behavior towards your own brother. That is what we're calling for, nothing more. We are just calling for a little inward thinking, inward looking, so that we can see that we are clean from the inside before we come outside to help one another. We have a lot to give to ourselves. We have a lot to learn from ourselves. We believe that we are the mother of all nations. We believe that we have the abilities and to make that change, and we believe that we are wise people and smart people. But believing is not a proof until you do it practically. You show something for it that others might believe with you. In this case, to believe something without something to show for it would be ridiculous. Let's prove our belief by showing that we are smart, by showing that we are wise, that by showing that we are the mother of all nations. The only way you can start it is by showing you love yourself more. We cannot only be saying it by mouth. A lot of things are going wrong among ourselves. When a lot of times we are in Germany here, when where we believe is they say the land of the Nazi, are married to a German woman. A lot of us also are married to German women. We know that this thing that is called Nazi is represented on individuals. If there's anything like that, if we should accept it, and this thing also they call racist is one that I have been struggling to understand exactly what it means, because the confusion of the attitude of people. I try to understand what a black African, my brother, will tell me about racism, European racism, when he deals with me more brutally, when he does to me what that white man will not do to me. You know, we can think otherwise. Maybe we are not seeing it because of that thing that should have brought us together. By knowing that it's a black man doing it to you, you don't call it racist because it's your brother man. But at the same time, that same thing that make you didn't call your brother a racist is the same thing that is making us hate ourselves more, in the sense that you don't call it that, but their attitude doesn't show that. For instance, there is a way here I see our own people. Only a glance, only the way a white man looks at you, only a way, maybe by me. Sometimes it's only just when eye to eye catch themselves. Our people misrepresent it. They tend to call it a different name. There's a way somebody becomes angry. Maybe a white man is angry or something else. You might not know. He's bored or he's stressed up, that he reacts to you angrily. We don't longer differentiate. Once it comes to a white man, the black man doesn't differentiate angry behavior and racist behavior. But when it comes to us, when your brother does to you that thing that is greater than what a white man will do to you, and you call it racist, because he shows you an angry behavior, you call him a racist. Your brother show you the same, a different kind of a more ugly sense of action or reaction. What I'm trying to say is we are dealing with ourselves aggressively more than the white people are dealing with us and pretending. We have heard a lot of stories about what the black man do to his fellow black man here in Europe, even up to the extent that people have taken away a life source of another brother. People have taken away the means by which a brother can be able to get his stay, by sheer wickedness. Sometimes people go, and when our people fall in love with white women, is also a black brother who will go and say nasty things. Some of them even want to go. Is that time they know that they have to be in love with the same woman, a brother, because a black man has talked to her, so it's a woman of the blacks. Everybody will now want to go. It's that woman now that every other black wants to go, when you know that this is a way your brother can make a good living. By the way, that the topic about the marriage about blacks and white is a thing of another story, because in the other way, if you look at it in another way also, there's no good intentions to the relationships. If you talk about maybe 80% of the relationship about the white and the black are not with good intentions, and we have to think about that. We have to be sure of what we are doing to the spirit of our African mother. When you think you can break the heart of other women, and when the mother Africa is a woman. What this does to our spirit of peace, our spirit of love, our spirit of harmony when we betray other people just because of our ego to fulfill just our self-desire, and we destroy the happiness, the soul of others. Reject, some of our people here reject their own blood. All these kind of activities and more we'll be speaking about here on Africans Online. Brothers and sisters, we salute you all, and we know that you are going to help us do this job. It's a hard job. It's going to be a hard one. We are ready for it. We are ready for it not because of our power, because we know you are there. We know we trust in you. We know that we can get it together. I know that when I say what I know and you say what you know, if what I say is wrong, if I have mistakes, you can put me right. If you have mistakes, I can put you right. If we too have mistakes, we will put ourselves right. We know that two heads are better than one. We know that we have the qualities, but we know that there is something wrong somewhere. And that something wrong somewhere is what a lot of people, African professors, African doctors, African educationists, African professors have been trying for decades, and a lot of intellectuals. We know that there have been a lot of African conferences, a lot of African gatherings trying to know what the problem is all about in Africa by men who studied, by African heroes, by men we give high respect. But up to date, it's as if only way what we hear is high grammar, expensive conferences, high honor and degreed people pretending to be serious. Because we watch some of these conferences, when you watch them, watch their speech, watch the decoration and the wonder of the place, the what they said. Let's talk about the speech they made, the idea that these people have. You watch them, you'll be clapping your hand before the video finishes, but when you turn around, you come and see these people are the people still in position to implement these ideas. But wait a minute, what is going on? The end doesn't justify the means. So to me, I feel somehow when I see African heads of states, African learned men, Professor this, Dr. that, Engineer this, they gather, they went to America for a conference, they come back to London for another African Union conference, they give it all sorts of names, they come, they debate, you watch it, you will be amazed by what is coming out from their mouth, but it has been going on for years. Just the same thing. Just the same thing. We cannot be doing that same thing, and we're expecting that is something else to be done. I don't think that we are doing the right thing, and we have not gotten it correct, and we are still moving backwards. Africa cannot, no one African country can come and become a sample. All of them just put their heads completely to the bush. Tell me if there's nothing wrong. That is something we need to be talking about. And that thing is organization. And we are going to have also a separate program run about organization. What it really means when we say Africans need organization. The problem is that they cannot organize themselves. What is really the meaning of organization? Because when it said organization, a lot of people go out, they form a lot of organizations. We have a lot of organizations out there. You say, okay, we want to form an organization. If there's no organization, you start to form your organization, people start to register, and now people start to cheat other people, money start to flow again. The organization become a circle of friends. They start again to speak big grammar and start to move their headquarters from here and there. Another one will say, so that is not the meaning of the organization we are looking for. There is an organization that we have not understood how to build that organization. Organization is not about building a circle and giving a name, African this conference. You people come and register into the organization and it ends there. Maybe everybody need to start putting their head down and we start thinking, because there's a lot of things I don't know. There's a lot of things people out there don't know. But the fact is that all of us together, I believe, is everything, and we can know everything. If we put our head together, we'll find out the result of all the answers that we've been asking. All the questions that have been asking, we will find out their answers. Brothers, we are one. We should recognize ourselves as Africans. It's very, very important. Like I know a Ghana man will say, I am a brother to every other Nigerian man out there. He says, this is a Nigerian, so you are a brother to a Nigerian man. But in Nigeria, I will recognize the fact that a Yoruba man will say, the next man I speak the same dialect with is my brother, is an Igbo man with me. And so on and so on. It becomes smaller and smaller till you get to your compound, your mother's kitchen, your own family, and it becomes about you first. That's why I said the charity, you have to come back for you trying to come inward, think about how you are going to relate to every other person who is a brother coming to you, then before we come again to get to that height of from the family to the compound, to the community, local government, the state, the country, and now we are back again to Africa. Why our brotherhood makes a lot of meaning to us, especially, is because we found ourselves in a foreign land. Why our brotherhood makes a lot of meaning is because our people back home is suffering from lack of knowledge. Not knowledge in the sense that a lot of them are graduates, they went to school, but the combination of the European culture, the ones that are fatal, the one, because we are going to fatal it. It's not as if you say European culture is just good, you carry them to your put inside your pocket, no, and carry it and go to Africa, no. We are going to fatal it. We know there is a lot of funny, good, what they call good time here, but this is not just what we want. That are not what we want. We know the good things among what they do that we can pick up. And that's why we're going to be great. And that's why we're supposed to be great. And that's why we in diaspora are the ones to pick out all these achievements, all these successes. We have our own culture also that we are born with, that has a lot of good representations in them. And also we know that in our culture there is a lot of outdated practices. And it is we also that are opportune to come in the Western world here to understand the outdatedness of all these practices, the ones to be kept aside, and make our people back home to know that these ones are no longer up to date. The ones to be dropped, we drop it. We use the ones we have learned here in the Western world, the ones that we have filtered in the Western world, removing the bad stones and the pins and the obstacles they have in their own tradition and way of life, putting with the ones we have peeled also from our own. Then we get the best that we will take back home. A lot of our people living in the Western world here still have a lot of their ancient, olden, outdated, customary culture that still influence them up to date here. That makes no meaning again. When it's outdated, means it's just like something that have expired. You are just wasting your time because it's no longer working the way it used to work because the time have passed, times have changed, events have carried on. That's what we're saying. This is Africans Online. This is why we are here. We are here to call back the souls and the spirit of the African men and women to come back and join hands together to be the force they have ever been. They were made to be. God started with us, and it's certainly going to go end with us. The earlier we come together to give that chance of the end, longer period for our own generations to come to lead the world, the better. The earlier we start to know that we are not the ones to enjoy age. Everybody must, the age, we know what it is. When you come, you must go. You can't live forever. But your work can live forever. Your name can live forever. And that's the only thing you get about all this game going on. We have only short time to stay. In this short time, we have the time to make our own lives pleasant. We have to make our own lives enjoyable. We have to be able to afford what we can make, what we can be called a man for. For instance, we buy houses, we buy cars, we'll be able to fend for our families, we're able to make them proud, buy beautiful clothes and shoes. The next thing you do is to try to signal, put your name in a seal. In a way, in the next 100 years, 200 years, when your name is called upon, doors will open. That's only what we live for. And that's the only thing that lives longer. That's the only thing that immortalizes you. That's it. Your legacy. The change you are able to afford. The only thing that will make our children be proud of us is that we started the foundation. We showed that root that was able for they could be able to build on. If we don't do it now, the next generations to come, maybe in the 4, 5, 6 generations, the time will be a little bit longer and more before they can even have the senses that they have to start this foundation that we are about to start if we will do it. If we leave it, this foundation will be prolonged more. It will take some other generations, and that is the suffering of the African men and women, our generations to come. We cannot live up to that time. So don't expect that to say, oh, if I build it today, well, I have to leave it. You can't leave it. But let's build it. How would it have been? How could you have felt if we were born today? That our forefathers, the world didn't start today. We are also going to have another separate show on the mistake our forefathers make. And also debate on whether it was a mistake or it wasn't a mistake, because people have opinions in different areas. This time is the time to be truthful. If they made a mistake, we are going to call it a mistake. If they were, if no matter whatever happens, we are going to get to the bottom of all these very issues. We could have been very happy people if we are born to open our eyes just to see ourselves in a land made up like the European world we came to become slaves in today. If you are born in your land in Ghana, if you are born in your land in Nigeria, if you are born in your land in Togo, in Ivory Coast, in South Africa, in Zambia, in Zaire, if you are born there to wake up open your eyes and see that everything was made as beautiful as it is in Europe here, and courtesy of your forefathers, how would you have felt? We could have been very gracious people today. We could have been happy. And that is what I look upon. That is what I saw. That is what I thought about before I say, no, I'm going to join the cause of people who are going to build the foundation for our children to remember that there are people who started the cause of building and binding that love back. We know that decades and long time ago have the Lord lost in among our people of Africa. If there's anybody telling you that we love ourselves, if there's anybody telling you that Africa is in unity, if there is anybody telling you that Africa is together, they are just pretending. Some might be deceiving themselves, but let's call the spade a spade. A land that have love, a land that have peace, a land that have more money, their own presidents. Even if you say you and your brother love yourself because you do business together, of course, yes. But your presidents, your governors, your leaders don't love you, because if they love us, if we really have love, it should start from our leaders. That is where the love starts in the first place. The country loving themselves is from the people who are in control of the power to love the rest people who are powerless, to fend for them, to give them part of their own share of the land they are born from, so that they can be able to belong, so that they can be able to start up. But we don't love ourselves. We pretend to love ourselves. Africa who tell you they love ourselves, you ask saying, how is your country dealing with the citizens? That is where you start counting people who love themselves. We were forced to start loving ourselves according to what we can do, our own ability. Forcing to, because the love we see is a forceful love, because you have no other alternative than to run to the next brother. Sometimes the love is out of your ability, your respect for your elder. The way you go, your service is how you get that love, or how you give that love. Somebody who serves you very well, somebody who respects you very well, who prostrates for you because he's in need. Then you like that guy. Or I like that man because you do those things and he gives to you. This is the kind of love we see. You say, okay, I'll send that guy to overseas. A man sends somebody to overseas. A man gives another one 1 million, 2 million, 3 million to start business. That's the kind of love we see. But that is not Africans loving themselves. African loving themselves starts from what is your government giving to the people, because the government is the land. And if you love yourself, the land should love the people. The people who have the don't say those are the governors, the presidents. Yes, they are the Africa. They are the part of you. They are the head of even the unification of a land. It's the people that rules that land. So if the love doesn't start from there to full, the other thing you are saying is a forceful love that you people engage in because of no choice. That love could have been wonderful if it flows from the up down. When the government also provides, when the government gives the people the opportunity, when the government gives the people the powers to be free, then that love will flow also down. When you receive this kind of love now underneath, you know that it's a genuine love. But what we are seeing now is not Africa loving themselves. African loving themselves will bring development. African loving themselves will bring love among one another. We will not be counting ourselves in the European world as Nigerians, as Cameroonians, as Ghanaians, as Togolese, as Zimbabwean, or as South Africa. We will be counting ourselves as African brother. Most of us don't know countries in Asia. We call them Asia, China, Arab. We don't know the countries that make them up, but we know they are Arabs. We see the communication between them. Sometimes they are so far apart, but you cannot understand the differences. They build business, they give job to their people first. They want to make friends. They make friends to their people first. They need help. They run to their people first. And that is a people, that is a community, that is people with love. That is what we want to represent. That is what we want to bring about. That is what we are calling for. We can't do it alone. We can only do it if you accept. We can only do it if you agree. We can only do it if you are with us. We build a platform for all Africans in Hanover, German, and beyond to come in, calling. If possible, you are living in the vicinity, you call into our studio. We are not hidden. We are at 54 Starter Strasse in Hanover, Germany. We call on all Africans to be part of what we are doing. We know that we have come a long way to come and seek survival. We know that our people are doing 8 hours job every day. We know that even some people are doing more than that. We appreciate all those facts. We pray for you all, but we want you to give time to your fellow African brothers and sisters, to care, not for that your individual African friend, not for that your own native land meeting alone. Care for your individual friends, care for your national or native meetings you hold here in Hanover, but also care for the general welfare of African continent and its people, especially we that knows that we come from the South, West Africa, East. I don't know where and where is where, but I know for me, we are all the same. If we can get our brothers, in fact, any African that believes in peace, in harmony, in togetherness, in fighting and believing as a people, as a community, that we can build ourselves here and help among ourselves and make sure that we stand to show our children that the only thing we can do is to build that love, that relationship, to start functioning. The children will do the rest of the job. They are smarter than us, especially these ones we born here. They are much more smarter than us with the fun food. These people will get it right. The only thing that will make them not get it right is that we don't show them who they are. And it's not showing them who they are by you carrying your own, going to your own country. You say you are telling your child who he is. You carry him every year. You are taking your children to Africa. It's also among it. But we have to build a community and for them here. Because these people are here. These people will know a lot of things and make the combination here for us and take it home. It's when we build the love among them here and know that that place, then when they have a community, when they have an organization, when they build that very one that they are going to build here, because I trust them. I know they are not going to fulfill like we, if we give them that opportunity. When they build that very mighty one that they are going to build here, they will carry it to their individual nations and multiply it. And multiply it. That is what we are talking about. All our efforts that we are doing individually is quite appreciated, is also needed, but I'm telling to extend that effort to be a communal, coming from your local government to your state, to your country, then extend it. Now we are here just because of our children. Let's share together. I know there are African Children's Day, the one the Cameroonians do, the one the Togos do, the ones the Nigerians do. All of them are called African Children's Day, but they are being hosted by different African nations. This is because there is no unification. That is because there is no organization. That is because we don't love ourselves. That is because we are not together. That is because we are the best haters of ourselves. If we come together, we know ourselves together, we learn together, we trade together, we do everything, we will find it easier. We will create a system that will work for us. Most of what I see here in our problem is we tend sometimes to know the result of things even before we want to try them. Some people will tell you, oh, the German system is different, you can't do that. If we are in America now, you can do that. But here in Germany, you cannot do that. The system is that. Do what? What is it that we cannot do? Do we want to commit crime? Do we want to kill somebody? We are talking about being our own kind of people. If we respect ourselves, if we show that we are people and we want to be our own community and take care of ourselves in according to the German law, the German government will give you the support even to maintain control of your own community according to German law. It's as simple as that. But our people sometimes, that is the problem, one of the biggest problem of the African people. They know already what the answer is going to be even before you ask the question. Especially my people also from Nigeria. That is one of the biggest problems. That's another topic also we are going to talk about what Nigeria means to Africa and why is Nigeria behaving like that. Then we are going to deep down also into problems facing Nigeria itself within its own borders, inside its own territory. How can somebody who cannot lead himself or a family become a president of a nation? That's why some of these nations cannot be able to see peace, because their presidents cannot be able to handle a family. Some of them have no wife, some of them have no husband, some of them have divorced, some of them cannot control their children. Some of the presidents and the ministers cannot even control a family. That's why sometimes I give hand to this Donald Trump, because first of all, the first aim of leadership is if you can lead your family and make them great. If you can make a good family, build your children, and they become successful, respectful, God-fearing. I think that should be one of the criteria, the qualification of any leader. We first of all check your house, how you are with did you marry? How did you control your wife? How are you, the behaviors of your children? We are going to judge you by that, because you need to do a nice job to tell us that you can do a nice job of leading millions of people when you cannot lead 4 or 5 you have in your home. We are going to bring to light the truth, the hidden narratives, those forgotten perspectives. Africa Online, we are going to bust them out, run with them, swim with them. Anything we can do to get out the truth, we are going to get to the bottom of what is happening in life. We are going to talk about the terrorist organizations that are disturbing the world, why people can no longer be free to live their way of life. We are also going to debate on why people are after other people's way of life. We also ask who is even after whose way of life in the first place and why. Then we are going to deal with a lot of things, and you'll be really glad to hear from us, because we know it in another package. We got it in another package, really good, wonderful package. A package that is mixed with wisdom and knowledge. There is difference between those two things. We are going to separate everything. The white man, now them start English, but we are going to make meaning. We are going to let them understand that they even misunderstood their own English. We are mother of all nations. We started wars. God started it with us, and we will teach you what it means when it comes to the meaning of the word that comes out from your mouth. They have been deceiving us a long time, a lot of things, a lot of things, a lot of things. They changed the meanings and even misunderstood them own selves in their own language. They have used the word and they rample the word with the confusion that lives in them. And we are going to tear it all apart. We are going to draw you closer to the truth. And we are going to make sure that we've used this opportunity, first of all, to gather our African men and women, especially those ones that are living in Hanover here, to be a part of the train that is going to make this change. Because we are coming to develop another change. It's a wave of change. The last time change, the beginning and the end. You have a start, it must have an end, and we are to champion it. Africa started it, Africa will end it. You people just play the middle part of the whole game. Now we want to change the phase of things. We want to turn the hand of the tide. And now we are going to do it starting from what we know from our own culture, what we have seen and learned from your own culture, filtered, removed all that, and accept all good. That's what we want to do. We are going to be of help to the world in giving ideas and knowledge on how to eradicate terrorism. We are going to give help and aid and help the world on how to also eradicate sin in the minds, in the lifestyle of the Westerners. That is even the cause of all this terrorism, because that is what they are not. What is the cause of terrorism? Is sin that the Westerners are committing. That the Muslim fanatics, or you call them Muslim, what they call it, them extremists, are trying to wipe away, because they believe they are servants of God. They are doing a work for God. First of all, you have to know the mindset and why they are doing it. They are committing all these atrocities in the name of God. You might think they are wrong. You might believe they are right, depending on who and where you live, on what you are thinking. But we know that we are not in position to judge also. God say we are not supposed to judge. That means we are not even in a case when it comes to who is going to heaven and who is going to hell, because when you die, it's finished. The next judgment is heaven or hell, according to what they tell us about religion, that we are also going to discuss to know whether all those narratives are correct. We are touching all these points. So these people believe they are trying to cleanse a world full of sin as a mission, as a work done to the grace of God. That's what they think. Whether they are right or wrong now is not for me and you to judge, first of all. One, that means it's religious in their head. Now, what are they after? A lifestyle. What lifestyle is that? Lifestyle of partying, homosexual, prostitution. They see as sin. That should leave us asking, is this lifestyle sinful or not? If the answer is yes, another question becomes, are these people the justified ones? Are they justified to be, even if the answer is yes, that this lifestyle is evil? Are these extremists the ones that have the permission to eradicate it for God? The answer is no. They are also not the one to become a judge for God to eradicate what they see as evil. You see, there is something going on here. It means The two parties see each other as evil and sees themselves as God or good. And now, in any side you belong, you say the other side is wrong. If you stand in the middle, you have no right to be the judge also. So the answer to that question, who is wrong or right, is left with God. But now, if you watch the commandment, how you can start to say, okay, in your own little mindset, how you can see what is morally fit for you to accept is what is the lifestyle that the Westerners saw and say, no, we are going to change it for you people by giving you democracy. The way you live is not a way of life. It's not a way of life. Now let's see what the Westerners saw in the way of life of the fanatics or Islamists, whatever. But you know what I mean. They saw a life where women must have to cover their hair before they come to the street, before they can, and they must have to be with a man on guidance. They cannot drive a car. You will be beheaded or killed if you prostitute. You'll be stoned. You'll be beheaded or killed if you leave the way or you leave the church, the mosque. Or forget about it. If you leave the religion. So for the Westerners, all this kind of attitude is barbaric. You don't do it. You don't chop off people's head. You don't stone women to death. It's not good. No matter who you tell that to, except the one who wants to do it, is a bad attitude. It's unacceptable for you to chop off one's head for any reason, for you to stone a woman to death, for you to take an eye for an eye. The Sharia law. It is inhumane. So these extremists have no right to be the ones to be a judge on the other hand. But first of all, their way of life, the way of life that the Westerners are not condoning to, don't want to deal with, is crude and raw. We can see a way of life that beheads women, beheads people, throw women stones and all this thing is crude. So it's a bad way of life. The Westerners are right, 100% correct to say these people, this way of life is not good. Okay. But are they right also to say we are the ones to change that way of life for you because we want to save your people? We want to save those we think are good ones among you, the moderate ones. Are they the ones to find moderation in a religion that is not theirs? Or is it the people, if there are moderate and the extreme in that very religion, I think the moderate are the ones to free or cut off the thorn in their flesh. Now, you can see in this way the lifestyle here that the Westerners want to sell, that want to use in replacing a lifestyle that they think is not good, is cruel, that we can all accept is barbaric. The lifestyle you want to use in influencing that, changing that, is a lifestyle that those people you are trying to change their lifestyle also condemns your own lifestyle in a way that they believe according to their own faith. Now these people goes, they take it a little much higher by taking it to God. Now they take it above what the Westerners took it. They took it as, we have the right to do this. We don't talk about God in this case. Your lifestyle is not good. It's not in the name of God. We're doing it in the name of politics and governance. We have to change for the sake of humanity. We are going to change the way you do things. While these people you are telling this already, from even if you did not come, even if you never came, to tell them you have to change your lifestyle with and replace it with democracy. Even if the white men did not come, the Westerners did not go and start to save the Muslims from the crude ways of the Muslim is what do you call them, man? So even if they didn't come, these extremists could have still come. They must come, because in their own scripture, God told them, according to them, it's a call they must have to answer. So it doesn't matter. It's the irony now is that monk Nyanga they sleep. Nyanga trouble they sleep. Sorry, trouble was sleeping. Nyanga go wake up, because so the white people are the Nyanga, the Islamists are the trouble. They were on their own. You carry your democracy and want to go and change them, not knowing that even if you had never come, they will still come. They have the mission. That was it. It was all about changing you. Even before you want to change them, they had it in their doctrine to change you. So that is the problem here in this verified. If we go deep down to understand the core, then we start to ask the both sides a question. You cannot sell what is not nice to the other side. This other side too, you cannot sell what to these two things you people want to sell. If you look at them up with clear-mindedness, you see that there is nothing you need to sell to somebody that you have. You should start eating your pleasure or your bitterness yourself. We should learn how to be our own people. There's a lot we are going to reveal in this station that are going to be the hard truth of the only option the world have. That's why we say we are going to help counter terrorists, and we are also going to help counter sin, bad life. That's the two things that I worry. The terrorists, their own is people who are bombing people, killing people. All right, it's amounted to a bundle of sin. But killing is a different kind of, it stands apart. We have publications that we are also going to show you that proves our point. Killing stands on a different dimension, category of sin completely. That is why we are going to stop terrorism and sin. This other side, there are two kinds of terrorism. We are going to talk about also the Western world terrorism and the Arabic terrorism. Thank you very much, brothers and sisters. That is how it is for us this very evening. Africans Online Network. This is our first broadcast. You will be with us. You will work it out with us because we are counting on you. Till next time, watch Manuel. I remain. Stay blessed.